So I don't like Miatas because the whole thing. I don't not like Miatas, but I don't like the broad spectrum of Miata owners that say you just don't mess with it. It's perfect from the factory. Nothing's perfect from the factory. If it was, they'd never break. That's not true. That's my point. I know you're about to hit me with the gotcha thing, okay?
Gotcha, bitch.
Motherfucker, dude.
Like, why do you like them so much?
So before I got into drifting, I was a big Honda kid. I've been drifting for about 6 years. So before that, I've never had a real drive car. And that's just like the first thing I ever really modified. When I was 16, I had my first Civic. And ever since then, it was always just Hondas. I've had probably over 30
damn Hondas. I grab everybody.
But the wagons, I don't know. They come all-wheel drive. There's a couple models, and that's the one I ended up getting for my first one, and just stuck with me.
Your first one was all-wheel drive?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
That's dope.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I think I've had it for over 10 years. But I ended up parking it. It's on jack stands right now, so I need to finish it. But yeah,
that's most project in. But so you definitely, as we mentioned, you're on YouTube. How long have you been on YouTube?
So I started last December, so that's 10 months.
Okay, so that's pretty good.
Pretty new.
Yeah. What's one thing you had to like really learn getting into YouTube? Like the biggest information you could have grabbed off of another video or like anything like that?
Audio was probably the biggest thing. Getting audio dialed in. I think my first 3 videos, it was all over the place. And James Tucker texted me. He's like, "Hey man, you gotta get this. You gotta get this guy trying to like turn my TV up and down."
I love James.
Yeah,
He's so wholesome.
Yeah, if people
I
can't
asked him to come on, he's just too fucking busy.
He's very
well,
busy.
you know, with his mom and the house and all. Yeah, I mean, he's super stacked.
James would be an awesome person on here.
Yeah, I
he's
agree.
a very
Cool
interesting guy.
Oh, for sure. Dude, you know the crazy story about me knowing James Tucker is I saw him at a car show. It was an Import Alliance that they had in Nashville, and I distinctly remember he had a yellow beanie and a brown car. And like when we first met, I was like, dude, I know you. And he's like, I don't know you. And I was like, in my head, and like, you know, he's like real like that. So he was like, yeah, I don't know you. And I was like, dude, I know you. And then he on his Instagram, because I'm a fucking, you know, I'm a spook. So I went looking and I find this picture, and the picture is like I took it with my head. Like it was like the picture that I remember. He's looking, you know, he always sits real low. Mm-hmm. He's looking over the corner of his door seal. He's got the fucking yellow beanie and a rusty, it's the theme of the car is it's rust colored. And I remember being like, I fucking knew it. You know? Like I was like, I'm not crazy.
So you've known James longer than me.
I don't see. I think he was telling the truth. He really didn't know who I was because I think he's a little older than me, or at least more established in the car world than me. And so he probably didn't see me. I just remember being like, dude, that's a fucking cool ass car. But because it's, you know, it was intentionally rusted, and it was a D series and stuff. It probably didn't get as much attention as it probably ought to got. So I remembered it because I like stuff like that. And so I remember like James was like, dude, that guy's cool as fuck. And then later we ended up becoming like best friends, you know? It's pretty funny.
That's how the car world works. But so back to the YouTube. What made you kind of want to start creating content, especially revolved around cars?
So honestly, I didn't really know about YouTube about 3 years ago. I used YouTube for like video game stuff and music. I didn't know people did this car stuff on here. I always like had like tutorials and stuff. I didn't know people did like vlogging type stuff. So I've always done forums, Instagram, YouTube, like just picture social media stuff.
Raw shit.
Yeah. And once I started watching like Taylor Ray, Jimmy Oaks, and the Night Ride guys.
Night Ride. Finally, you don't even know who Night Ride is.
Yeah, it's true. I don't.
But Night Ride's like the
dope
main
as
reason
fuck.
why I started it, because I came across them when they were still pretty new.
Who is that?
Yeah.
Who is that?
They're from Poland, aren't they?
Yeah, they're the Polish boys.
Yeah, they have like their own little shop. It's like 4 or 5 of them in it.
Yeah, they're growing. So they're like they like these stance kids that have like phenomenal at cinematics, and they
were
just
at the
took
LZ
off.
Fest in Ireland.
But they've gotten into drifting. They got a 1UZ Miata. So
That's cool.
yeah,
I like 1UZs.
Yes.
Caleb's been talking about doing one of those forever.
but yeah,
What?
I like Miatas. That's the idea that I don't like Miatas is not true. It just listen.
Just on the internet. It's just
you
on the
said
internet.
it to me.
Yeah, he knows. It's the truth. Dude, for all the people that don't know me, all right, is if you take a shot at me and I figure out that it messes with you, I'll just feed into it, okay? For example, I don't actually hate cyclists. I don't particularly care for people that ride bicycles and hold up traffic. I don't think that person deserves the same rights as a car. I don't actually hate every cyclist. My girlfriend is a cycling instructor. Okay, it's a joke. Okay, and so like there's this stigma about me that I'm like some V8 elitist, and I fucking don't like Miatas. Like we had 2 Miatas at the house at one point. Like I like Miatas. Cause I know how he is. He's gonna like cut it up. He's gonna be like, I'm like, fuck all Miatas. They're all terrible. I just know. So just so the people that actually watch the podcast know, it's not true.
What he's not telling you is
don't
those
let him lie
Miatas
to
are
you.
in the backwoods where no one could see them.
Yeah, they're behind the house.
Don't let him lie to you. He's told me specifically he does not like Miatas.
I don't particularly like stock Miatas. No, I for all the people that have Miatas that like drive them stock, it's a perfectly good car. I'm not saying it's a bad car. I just don't like stock. Okay, so for example, today Dawson runs another channel for our dealership, and he comes up and he asks me if I got an R34, would I modify it? Before he even asked that question, he knows what I'm going to say. I'm going to modify it because I'm the person. I just like fucking with shit. So I don't like Miatas because the whole thing. I don't not like Miatas, but I don't like the broad spectrum of Miata owners that say you just don't mess with it. It's perfect from the factory. Nothing's perfect from the factory. If it was, they'd never break. That's not true. That's my point. I know you're about to hit me with the gotcha thing, okay? Gotcha, bitch. Motherfucker, dude. I don't hate Miatas. I just don't particularly like the typical owners of Miatas. They're just like S13 people. I don't like S13 owners either.
You're coming for James now. You better watch
He's
it.
like James is like one of the only ones that's like, yeah, fuck it, cut it up, and I'm like, hell yeah, you know, like that's the guy that I get along with, you know. So that's the whole joke. I don't actually hate Miatas. They're fine. All right. God. You see, dude, this whole show is based around me having to dance around different questions that Dawson has. It's like, I'm going to put that on the internet forever. He's laughing because I'm right.
You are.
It's good content.
Anyways,
All right, sorry.
Speaking of Miatas, what made you go with a Miata as your drift car, designated drift car?
Cheap.
Used to be. They're not so
It used
cheap
to be
now.
cheap. So like 5 years ago when I was trying to get into this, I really wanted a 240, but I couldn't afford a 240, and I got my Miata for $1,200 running. So
Ran, huh?
ran.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
I wish when they used to cost like as low as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought mine.
Dude, the last time I
mine.
looked, it was like for a ragged out fucking Miata that barely limps on 2
$3,500,
cylinders is like
$4,500.
$4,000. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck you.
But
sold
you can
the-
still find them pretty cheap on like 240s. Like everyone and their mama knows what a 240 is still.
Yeah.
Like and what they're worth.
I know where I know where they're all at.
So if you're trying to get into it, you can still find deals in Miata. There, it's rare, but it's still better chances than a 240.
That's like that thing that you cut up about me where people are saying like, where are you finding $1,000 pickup trucks? And I'm like, you just like, I don't know how to explain that to someone. Like you just have to be looking for $1,000 pickup truck.
That's street smart. You just can't teach that to people.